talk English.
I am the one who knocks. Say my name. Yes, science.
Oh man, classic.
Right. I mean, even if you've never watched a single frame of this highly dramatic television universe, you know those lines.
Absolutely, they are culturally massive.
They really are. But we aren't here today to just do like another TV review or talk about character arcs.
No.
Our mission for this deep dive is completely different. We're looking at how this specific, intense universe serves as an absolute masterclass in American English.
Yeah, we are going to decode how these fictional life or death phrases have completely infiltrated real-world, everyday American conversation.
And for you listening, whether you're a native speaker analyzing your own daily habits or an advanced English learner trying to really grasp American pop culture, there is a tremendous amount of hidden value to extract here.
Oh, for sure. We're looking at a massive linguistic spectrum today.
Huge spectrum.
We'll cover everything from gritty street-level slang to high-level professional corporate jargon.
Because understanding this specific vocabulary isn't just about watching television. It's practically a shortcut to mastering the unspoken rules of native casual English.
Exactly. It reveals how Americans actually speak when the textbook is closed.
Right.
Which is really what makes these phrases truly iconic. And that's a word we use when something is so widely recognized it becomes a defining symbol of the culture itself.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it is wild to me how we take these highly dramatic, intense pieces of dialogue and seamlessly adapt them for our extremely mundane, everyday situations.
It's so true.
Let's start with the big one. I am the one who knocks.
Ah, the Skylar and Walt Dorr scene. Chillin'.
So chilling. In its original context, this is a character asserting that he isn't the one in danger, right? He is the danger.
Right.
How does that heavy psychological weight translate to someone sitting in a beige office cubicle on a Tuesday morning?
Well, it translates to the underlying linguistic mechanics.
Okay, break that down for me.
The phrase relies on the grammatical structure of the one who followed by a verb. So, I am the one who knocks.
Right.
In American pop culture, using that specific construction is a way of signaling that you are stepping into a dominant, authoritative role.
Like taking charge.
Exactly. You aren't just performing a temporary action, you're defining your core identity by that action.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you might hear a manager say, I'm the one who decides the timeline here, or a founder say, she's the one who built this logistics network from nothing.
It's an assertion of ultimate control.
It is. It fuses the person's identity directly to the power they hold.
So it's essentially a way of putting on linguistic armor.
That is a great way to put it.
I just imagine someone hyping themselves up before a really stressful situation.
Yeah.
Like a terrifying salary negotiation.
Oh, absolutely.
You're pacing outside the conference room, sweating through your shirt, and you just have to look at the mirror and say, stop worrying. You are the one who knocks. Go in there and close the deal.
Yes. You're borrowing that fictional character's confidence.
Exactly.
You are borrowing the power of the original context to temporarily empower yourself. And we see a totally different kind of borrowing with our next phrase.
Which is?
Yeah, science.
Oh man, Jesse Pinkman's Pure Joy.
Pure joy. Originally, this is just a visceral reaction to a chemistry experiment working out successfully with the magnets.
Yeah.
But linguistically, it's fascinating because it takes a broad, dense, academic subject science and turns it into a raw exclamation of enthusiasm.
It's so funny.
It's a perfect example of a catchphrase.
Right, which is a phrase so closely associated with a specific cultural moment that it just becomes a reflex in everyday speech.
Exactly.
Because normally nobody cheers for the abstract concept of the scientific method.
No, never.
But we do it all the time now. Like if my laptop completely freezes up
Oh, I know where this is going.
and I just blindly hit Control-Alt-Delete and the screen magically comes back to life, my first reaction is, yeah, science. I have absolutely no idea what actually happened inside the computer's processor, but I'm celebrating the abstract concept of technology working in my favor.
And that grammatical pattern extends far beyond just the word science, too.
How so?
Well, the formula here is yeah, plus anything, as a declaration of genuine excitement. It strips away the need for a complex, grammatically complete sentence.
Oh, like, yeah, Friday.
Yes, or yeah, pizza. It's punchy, it's immediate, and it's a very common pattern in casual American speech when something worked out exactly as you hope.
Especially if the mechanism behind it feels a little bit like magic.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears to another phrase that operates as a reflex for people today.
Okay.
Better call Saul.
Ah, the sleazy lawyer commercials. Better call Saul.
Right. This is a direct suggestion, but there's a lot of urgency built into those three words. Better call whoever.
Yeah, break down the grammar on that one.
The grammar here revolves around the structure better plus a verb. It is a conversational shorthand for you had better, but we completely dropped the you had to make the phrasing faster and more aggressive.
So, you better call him implies you should call him immediately or there will be severe negative consequences.
Precisely. The word better does an immense amount of heavy lifting in this sentence. It signals urgency and consequence without technically giving a formal command.
It operates as advice, but it's heavily loaded advice.
Very heavily loaded.
Let me push back on that slightly, though.
Sure.
If we compare the casual you better to the slightly more formal you'd bet, like if I'm at work and I tell a coworker, you better call your manager, doesn't that sound a bit like a threat?
It really can.
Like I'm giving them an aggressive command rather than actually trying to be helpful.
What's fascinating here is how region, social strata, and most importantly, tone completely dictate the meaning of that exact phrase.
Tone is everything.
It is. You are completely right that it can function as a threat. If you deliver it with a harsh, clipped tone, you'd better call your manager. The unspoken implication is, if you don't, I will, and you'll be fired.
Right. Yikes.
But if your tone is collaborative, breathless, and concerned, and you say, oh man, the client is furious, you better call your manager before they find out from someone else.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's totally different.
It transforms instantly into a warning from a loyal ally. The grammar remains identical, but the vocal delivery creates the context.
It's incredible how a subtle shift in tone can turn a casual warning into a cartel-level threat.
Truly.
But to really sell that threat, these characters don't actually rely on grand, dramatic catchphrases day to day. They rely on incredibly casual street slang to disarm you before the trap snaps shut.
Yes, exactly.
Let's look at the word yo.
Jesse's ultimate catchphrase. Think of the word yo as the ultimate linguistic Swiss Army knife in this universe.
I love that. Swiss Army knife.
It's a staple of informal address that serves multiple functions. It can mean hey, it can mean listen up, or it can simply serve as a massive intensifier for whatever you are about to say.
Right.
This makes it a textbook colloquialism. And a colloquialism is a word or phrase that is used in ordinary, familiar conversation, but is generally entirely inappropriate for formal writing or formal speech.
So it acts almost like verbal punctuation.
Verbal punctuation is the perfect way to categorize it.
Awesome.
Saying, yo, did you see that? Uses it as an anchor to grab someone's attention before delivering the actual information.
Yeah.
Saying, yo, this pizza is amazing. Uses it to amplify the statement, raising the emotional temperature of the sentence.
It has incredibly high frequency in casual American environments, particularly in urban centers.
It really does.
Yeah.
But because it is a colloquialism, the context boundaries are strict.
Meaning?
You would never walk into a corporate board meeting, drop your briefcase, and say, yo, let's look at the quarterly projections.
Unless you're actively trying to get fired.
Exactly.
Okay, let's look at another piece of everyday colloquial language that carries a massive amount of psychological weight. The art of the exit.
Oh, this is a good one.
The difference between saying I'm out versus I'm done.
Yes.
To a non-native speaker, or even just casually looking at those phrases on paper, they seem identical. They both mean the speaker is leaving.
They do both signal an exit, but the internal psychology driving them is completely different.
Break that down.
This is where we have to look at subtext, which is the underlying unspoken meaning beneath the literal words being said.
Right.
I'm out is spatial and situational.
Okay.
It means I am leaving this physical space, or I am no longer participating in this specific isolated offer.
Okay, and I'm done.
I'm done, however, is temporal and deeply emotional. It means I have reached my absolute psychological limit and my participation in this dynamic is permanently over.
Well, let me act this out, because I feel the difference between these two in my bones.
Go for it.
If my boss walks over to my desk at 4:59 p.m. on a sunny Friday and says, hey, can you come in and work this weekend to finish auditing this massive report? I would casually grab my bag, maybe offer a little laugh, and just say, oh man, no way, I'm out.
Perfect.
It's a casual rejection of an isolated offer. There are no hard feelings. My schedule is just protected.
And your use of "I'm out" keeps the rejection bounded strictly to that specific weekend event.
Exactly. But if I'm trapped in a terrible, emotionally toxic relationship, and we're having the exact same screaming fight about the same issue for the 100th time,
Oh boy.
I wouldn't say I'm out. I would take a deep breath, drop my shoulders, look them directly in the eye, and quietly say, I'm done.
Chills?
It carries this heavy, crushing finality to it. It means the internal tank is completely empty.
The physical performance you just described, the dropping of the shoulders, the exhaling of breath, perfectly mirrors the linguistic conclusion of "I'm done." It represents pure exhaustion. It is the end of a long, drawn-out process. "I'm out" is about geography and boundaries. "I'm done" is about time and expiration dates.
So saying I'm out protects your schedule, but saying I'm done protects your sanity.
Exactly.
But what happens when people drop street slang entirely to protect something much darker?
Right.
We're talking about their illicit activities. Let's look at the language of the corporate cartel. Think Gus Fring running his fried chicken empire.
The stark contrast between the gritty street slang and this next set of vocabulary is the entire point.
How so?
The slang grounds the characters in reality, but the highly sanitized professional English they adopt is designed entirely to mask and legitimize their operations.
They use standard corporate jargon to discuss deeply non-standard, often violent activities.
Exactly.
Which is chilling to watch, but incredibly useful for anyone trying to navigate real-world American business English.
Oh, incredibly useful.
Let's start with due diligence.
Due diligence refers to the careful, comprehensive research, investigation, and auditing that must be completed before a company enters into a formal business agreement or makes a major asset purchase.
Right, like making sure a company isn't secretly bankrupt before you buy it.
Exactly. But in the criminal universe we are analyzing, characters use this phrase when discussing massive money laundering operations.
Yeah, they have to do their due diligence to ensure a fake cover business looks completely clean to the IRS.
Right. And in everyday legal business, it means thoroughly checking the financial records, uncovering hidden legal liabilities, and reviewing every single contract before you acquire another company.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Oh.
Why do cartels use MBA speak? It seems to me it's not just to fool the police if their phones are tapped. It's psychological distancing.
That's a great point.
By using terms like due diligence, they detach their personal morals from their daily tasks. It frames criminal behavior as just another Tuesday at the office.
That cognitive dissonance is exactly why the jargon is so effective. It sanitizes the dirtiest work.
It really does.
And we see that same sanitization with the phrase "off the books." Literally, it means unofficial, undocumented transactions.
This brings us to the concept of double meaning.
Yes.
I think a lot of people assume that if you say something is happening off the books, you must be wearing a trench coat in a dark alley, handing over a briefcase full of unmarked bills.
Well, in the context of a criminal cartel, yes, off the books universally means illegal, untaxed blood money.
Right.
But the history of the phrase has transitioned heavily into the everyday gig economy.
Oh, interesting.
Originally referring to keeping transactions out of the official accounting ledgers of mobsters, in modern daily life, it often just describes an informal arrangement that bypasses bureaucracy.
Right. If my car breaks down in my driveway, and I know a buddy who is a brilliant mechanic, I might call him and say, hey, I'll give you $200 cash if you come over and replace my alternator this weekend.
Perfect example.
He is doing off-the-books work. It is not a grand federal criminal conspiracy.
No, not at all.
It's literally just paying a friend in cash.
Yeah.
So neither of us has to deal with formal invoices, corporate taxes, or repair shop overhead fees.
Exactly. It's the language of convenience, not necessarily criminality.
Totally.
Another brilliant workplace phrase that captures this kind of overwhelm is "in the weeds."
Oh, I know this one.
This means being completely consumed by minor details, being so deeply buried in the granular specifics of a task that you can no longer see the big picture, the overarching strategy, or the actual goal.
Oh, I live in the weeds.
We all.
If I have a massive project due at noon, and I spend 4 hours color-coding my email inbox and adjusting font sizes instead of actually writing the report, I am deep in the weeds.
Yep. And the etymology of that phrase paints a very vivid picture.
Where does it come from?
It actually originates from the fast-paced restaurant industry. When a server is overwhelmed with too many tables, running back and forth with drink orders, forgetting appetizers, and entirely losing control of their section, they are described as being in the weeds.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it conjures the image of being physically tangled up in tall grass, unable to move forward or see the horizon.
That is so evocative.
And it operates very similarly to another common workplace phrase, in the trenches.
So if I'm in the weeds, I'm drowning in spreadsheet formatting and totally tangled up.
Right.
But in the trenches feels totally different, almost like I'm doing the heavy foundational grunt work right alongside my team. Is that the psychological divide there?
Your hypothesis is spot on. In the trenches implies a level of solidarity.
Okay.
It references military history, implying that you are doing the hard, ground-level work alongside your peers. It has a noble collective connotation.
Like we are in the trenches together getting this product launched.
Exactly. In the weeds, conversely, implies you have completely lost your perspective. You aren't doing noble work, you are just tangled. You need someone to throw you a lifeline.
So in the trenches makes you sound like a dedicated team player, and in the weeds means you need a manager to intervene.
Pretty much.
Extremely good to know for the next performance review.
Definitely.
Now, if in the trenches is about teamwork and collective struggle, what happens when a character completely abandons the team?
The final shift.
Let's shift our focus to why these characters do what they do. Let's look at the language of power, identity, and ultimate self-justification.
Because grammar doesn't just describe actions, it actively reflects a person's deepest psychology.
It absolutely does.
The linguistic structures we choose reveal exactly how we justify our actions to ourselves.
Right. Let's talk about Walt's final scene with Skylar in the kitchen.
The pivotal defining example from our material is the simple, devastating phrase, "I did it for me."
Such a huge moment.
It represents a character's final, honest admission about why he built a horrific criminal empire.
Right, because for years leading up to that moment, he utilized a totally different grammatical structure. He'd say, I do it because of my family, or I did it because we needed the money.
Exactly. The structural shift from because to for me is a massive psychological leap.
It changes the entire locus of control. Saying, I did it because constantly points the finger outward.
Yes.
It shifts the blame to an external pressure. You're blaming the economy, you're blaming your terrible boss, you're blaming your medical bills.
Yes. The word because inherently relies on external motivation or inescapable circumstance as a shield.
Right.
But the linguistic structure of I did it for plus a reason, and specifically for me, is how Americans take ultimate, undeniable ownership of a decision.
You are declaring that the action originated entirely from your own internal desire, untethered from anyone else's needs.
Exactly. Like, I took the cross-country job for myself, or I stayed in the relationship because I chose to.
It strips away all the noble excuses and forces the speaker to own the selfish or self-centered reality of their choice.
It's extremely powerful.
That is incredibly heavy. It's the exact moment the protective mask finally comes off.
It really is.
And speaking of masks coming off, there is another incredibly intimidating grammatical construction used to establish dominance. You clearly don't know who you're talking to.
Oh, this one is great. This relies on the structure, you don't know who or what you're, plus an either verb.
Okay, give me an example.
You might hear, you don't know who you're messing with, or she doesn't know what she's getting herself into.
It functions as a powerful warning.
And a direct assertion of untouchable status. It explicitly tells the listener that their assessment of the current power dynamic is dangerously incorrect, and they are vastly underestimating the person standing in front of them.
It is the ultimate trump card to play in an argument.
Absolutely.
But what I find so brilliant about American English is how we take these terrifying dominant structures and immediately repurpose them for mundane, everyday comedic effect.
Oh, we do this all the time.
You can use this to genuinely intimidate someone, sure.
Yeah.
But imagine a coworker doubts your ability to organize the weekly data metrics.
Okay.
And you just narrow your eyes, lean across the desk, and deadpan, you clearly don't know who you're dealing with. I am the spreadsheet master.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that humorous application is exactly why grasping this vocabulary is so vital.
Totally.
You are taking a grammatical construction designed for a life-or-death cartel confrontation and utilizing it to express mock arrogance over a Microsoft Excel document.
It's hilarious.
But that joke only lands, and you can only deliver it effectively if you deeply understand the cultural weight, the history, and the intense subtext of the original phrase.
Which brings us perfectly to our wrap-up.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have. We have journeyed through a massive amount of linguistic territory today, moving from the street-level grit of colloquialisms to the psychological distancing of corporate jargon, all the way to the grammar of pure, selfish motivation.
It's a full spectrum.
How do we synthesize all these layers into something actionable?
Well, I think the synthesis lies in realizing that mastering a language is fundamentally different from passing a vocabulary test or scoring well in an academic English class.
Right.
We've explored how a catchphrase brings people together in shared enthusiasm. We've seen how colloquialisms build informal rapport and how double meanings allow people to navigate gray areas.
Absolutely.
Understanding the subtext of these phrases transforms you from someone who merely translates words literally in their head into someone who truly understands the cultural weight and the subtle humor humming beneath the surface of American conversation.
It's a huge shift.
You are no longer just speaking the language, you are actively speaking the culture.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
It means the media you consume is a living, breathing textbook.
Exactly. When you absorb these nuances, you gain the ability to navigate the unspoken rules of the office, the bar, or the street.
And I want to leave you with a final philosophical thread to pull on long after this deep dive ends.
Let's hear it.
Think about how language possesses this incredible viral ability to outlive the specific context it was born in.
Wow, yeah.
These phrases started as ink on a script for a very dark, very specific fictional universe. But today, when you use one of these dominant phrases at work or with your friends, consider this.
Okay.
Are you subconsciously channeling the power, the rebellion, or the absolute untouchable confidence of those fictional characters?
Oh, that's fascinating.
Even if you are literally just talking about a color-coded spreadsheet or celebrating a really good slice of pizza on a Friday, a piece of that original explosive intensity lives on in your everyday speech.
It is like we are all just constantly borrowing a little bit of swagger from the TV screen to get us through our daily lives.
Exactly.
I love thinking about it that way. And that brings us to the end of our exploration today.
It's been fun.
But we want to keep this conversation going with you. What is your absolute favorite line from a television show or movie that you have actually heard someone drop in real everyday life?
Oh, I'd love to hear these.
Drop it in the comments wherever you are listening right now. And bonus points if you use it in a fully contextualized sentence.
Definitely.
Until next time, remember, when opportunity comes to your house, you don't have to hide. You are the one who knocks. Keep learning, keep listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.